So hello everyone. In the last video, we have actually studied about evolutionary process models, the basics of what is evolutionary models, and we have seen one type of model which is known as a prototype model, and we actually seen what is prototyping, what are the types of prototypes we developed in the prototyping model, and what is the workflow for prototyping model. So if you haven't seen that video, please pause this particular video and go back to the channel and watch the prototyping models video before coming to this particular video. Now, for all those who have actually gone through the previous video, this spiral model is a type of evolutionary model which creates a more complete version of a particular software with each iteration. With prototype model, we don't create a particular complete version of a software with each iteration or each prototype. So we cannot say that prototyping model is a complete software, but yes, with spiral model, we actually create more enhanced and more systematic final product in each iteration. So the spiral model couples the iterative nature of prototyping with the controlled and systematic aspect of waterfall model. It has two main distinguishing features. The first is it uses a cyclic approach, which actually helps in incrementally growing a system degree of definition and implementation while decreasing its risk of degree of risk. So with each iteration, what it happens is this system actually add more and more features. We will see the diagram which will be more clear how it adds more information, and each iteration, each cycle, in each cycle it adds certain level of information, and with each cycle, with the addition of the additional information or enhanced information, it decreases the risk. And if we decrease the risk and add more information, what we can say in turn is this will give us a pointer that we are moving toward a more stable version of the software. Okay, so we create a more stabilized software with each cycle. The second thing is it has some anchor points. What are anchors? If you have seen ships while they are at the harbor, what they do, they when they want to stop a ship, they put the anchors. Okay, its anchor helps to stop the ship. The anchor helps to protect the ship in high tides. So likewise, there are certain points in the spiral model which are actually there to stop and then find out whether we are moving in the right direction or not. So it will also have certain things like it will have a mutual concern between the developer and the client about the functionality that is being developed, the prototype that has been created, or the requirement that had been gathered. So they actually wants to understand that whether we are going in the right direction or not. If we are not going in the direction, we will in the next pile we have to overcome all the issues. Okay, so that's the other aspect of a systematic approach. So with the help of the cyclic approach and the anchor points, we can say that this model is creating a more complete version with each iteration. Okay, so let us see the diagram now for the spiral model. So the diagram for a spiral model is the simpler diagram for a spiral model is it's as shown here. It has a customer communication phase followed by a planning phase. Then we have a new phase of as a risk analysis, which was not there in the rest of the cycles, but it was a part of planning also. Eventually, it was part of planning, but here we have written it like separately. Why? Because we want to overcome the risk, and each time we are going out of a cycle of out of an iteration, right? So we can say that you have multiple rings going out in a spiral fashion. With each ring you can do a different type of work. Likewise, the first thing is concept development project. So the innermost, the darkest grayed out ring says that in this we are developing the concepts of the product. Once we are done with the concept, we come to one of the anchor points. This is the second. First anchor point is the start of the product, and the second is the anchor point is about once we are done with the concept development. So at this point, we are discussing it with the clients, with the stakeholders, that this is the concept that we have drafted out of your requirements, and this is actually what we have learned from you. Is it the correct way or not? So if the customer says yes, we are done, this is the right way, we can go ahead with the next cycle, and the less gray out section starts now. This is the new product development project. So now we are doing some activities that actually is the development of a new project based on the concepts. Once we are done with this, we are stopping here is the third anchor point, and this we again consult the customer, show him the whatever work we have done, take his feedback, and mutually agreed upon certain points, and go ahead with the next less grayed out circle, which is the enhancement of the existing work. And finally, with each iteration, you will see that we are moving from the core development to a new product development to enhancement and to the maintenance phase. So this is a general spiral model. So we can see that each model has all the six phase going on one by one, right? So you cannot say that I will do one phase in one type of activity, communication in one particular. No, I will do communication, planning, risk, and engineering, construction in all, each phase, each iteration with all the six phases. So it depends upon how you go ahead with spiral model. So a more complete version or more detailed version of the software spiral model is shown here now. So it has four what you can say quarters. The first thing is determine objectives and alternatives and constraints. So this is the this is quadrant actually talks about determination of what are the objectives and what are the alternatives and what are the constraints. Oh, okay. Now this second quarter actually has to evaluate alternatives, identify and resolve risk. So this is more about risk analysis and the planning part. And the third is develop, verify next level product, and finally plan the next phase. So there are four basic quadrants of this particular section. If you see the innermost circle here, it talks about the review. First of all, I want to review the existing works, or I can review the communication that I have received from the customer. Then based on this, I will do a risk analysis. The first risk analysis about whether we have a risk in a system or not. Based on our whatever analysis we do, we will create the first prototype. Then we have developed a concept of operation, and finally we develop a requirement plan, a life cycle plan. Okay, how we are going to implement the requirements. So this inner thing has been done, and at this point we stop here, and we actually this is the anchor point. Once we are done, we don't need any review now. We will go in the next phase of risk analysis about the next risks that are coming up. We develop a prototype 2, then we do a simulation models, software requirements, requirement validation, development plan. Once we are done with this, we go again with prototype 3. Again we enhance the simulation models. We do a product design now. We design a validation and verification checklist now, that we write down the steps that we want to check when we are going to ahead with the development process. Then we again try to, because we have already done our development plan, we know the stages. So what we do, we create an integration and test plan. And now finally in the last phase, what we do, we create an operational prototype. When we have an operational prototype, that means this is a prototype which actually resembles the customer needs. Now we actually do a detailed design and start the actual coding. We have told you in the last video that prototypes can be throwaway or prototype can be working prototype. So depending upon what prototype you are showing, this operation prototype may be a throwaway prototype, or this prototype can be a working prototype. So with whether this is a throwaway prototype or a working prototype, you start developing your code from this prototype model, and then you do a unit test, an integration test, acceptance test, and finally you deploy to the client, and then you plan the next phase of the software development. So this is how the complete spiral model works, right? And it is more detailed version of the previous diagram. So this is all about spiral model. In the next lecture, you are going to study about a component based software development model. Thank you.